Hello folks and welcome. So this video is on MX Linux Plasma Desktop as of June of 2023. This video is made for new users, whether you're a senior or young at heart, it doesn't matter, new users. So my video today is going to be about themes, very colorful theme as you can probably see. I'll talk about global themes, I'll talk about the subcategories of plasma style, application style, colors, icons, and even mouse cursors or mouse pointers. I'll talk about that widget that you can see there. That's an actual widget that has the power, sleep, lock, switch user. All of this stuff is achievable by you as the user rather easily. None of this stuff requires any extra coding. So no coding skills. This is all point and click, folks. So let me give you some quick system information and continue. So this is a Plasma desktop. Today I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. A lot of times what I also refer to as different things, because I'm Icelandic. I'll talk about like mouse cursors as mouse pointers, for instance. So try not to get too deep into those kind of weeds, but more importantly, I will describe sometimes things a little differently than some others. Bob is a made-up name for today. It's just a made-up name. He's going to be our user for today. So welcome, folks. I'll also be showing you some shortcuts. The first one is Alt F4 to close that window. So let's go take a look at the panel right now. You have very colorful icons. You got the Firefox, Dolphin, System Settings, Console, Main Menu, and the File Manager. Let me hit the Home folder and I'll kind of bring it to the center of the screen. So if you are fairly new to MX or fairly new to Plasma, you've got your standard close, your maximize and minimize buttons. You can also do my shortcut and double click on this bar. It simulates the same thing as doing that. If you don't like the size of the icons, you can go and find this little drag bar at the bottom to make them tiny or large. You can also resize it my way. So I have a standard computer based mouse, USB based mouse that has a scroll wheel on it. So what I'm going to do with my other hand is I'm going to depress and hold the control key down. While holding the control key, I'm going to use my computer mouse scroll wheel to resize icons. Now, if you have a touchpad, you may want to try this because it definitely works on my laptop. If you depress and hold the control key and taking two fingers on your touchpad and slide them up and down, it should produce this effect. If it doesn't, then you can always do it the old-fashioned way. All right, so more importantly, this is very colorful icons, and I'll show you what the theme is in a minute. Okay? So I'm going to use another tip for you, which is Alt and F4 to close this box instead of the red X in the corner. So let's open up settings. These are just all shortcuts, folks. So as you can see, it's very colorful, and my global theme for today is Suite. Whenever you install, well, let me put it this way. When you install themes, they sometimes also install stuff in other categories, as you can see with the icons too. And I'll get back to this get new global themes in a little bit here, but I'm going to first explain that this Suite theme, global theme, installed several things in several categories. I'll click Plasma Style, for instance. It installed that. Application Style. Colors. The word Suite is in here. Icon Sets. It installs the candy icons. Cursors. Install the Suite cursors. Mouse pointers, mouse cursors. Told you I have a couple of different ways of describing things. So I have another theme in here too, called LAN. What does that one look like? Let's go find this one. I'm just going to use the File Manager as the example. So that's what that one looks like. Let me make this larger for you. So the only icon that lights up in color is the close button in the corner, top corner. The maximize does not, and neither does the minimize. Maybe these are in the wrong orientation. Let me move the box down so maybe you can see this better. All right, same deal with resizing icons. I'll go with the largest to the smallest, just to give you the perspective. Again, it's the same thing as me dragging this little bar down here. Okay, so that's kind of middle of the road. Making it big, making it small. Alt and F4 to close. Standard one, you may have this one. Let's take a look at that for a second. Maybe this is your current theme. Resizing icons on the fly. Buttons are over here. I'll just use the conventional buttons since I'm here. Maybe you've got the dark theme installed. Yeah, we have all kinds of options, folks. All kinds of options. All right, Alt F4 this time to close. I'm going to switch to the suite theme for a second. All right, with all that stuff said, again, now that you understand that this does install in several places. Okay, so before I click on the Get New Global Themes, some folks are also wondering, sometimes when you click on things, it opens and I don't want it to do that. Well, if that's the case, then go to the Workspace Behavior, and investigate this option right here. Are you on single click or double click? If you are on single click, that's probably why. If you click double click to open files and folders, it won't do that. It won't, you have to double click on things, in other words. All right, let's go back to global now. Let's go get some new themes. Let's talk about this box. Again, this is made for new users. So I can enlarge this. And I can go back to the size. I can also do this if I can find it, because this is black. It's hard for me to see this. But in either case, I would probably use that if you were using this theme. So we can look for themes. We can take a look at the views, like preview mode. You have icon view mode, and you have the tile view mode. And again, don't forget, you can just make this bigger if you like. You have an install key. So if you want the theme, you can rather easily install that. What if you want to just see the ones that are currently installed? Well, then you show installed only. Let me make this larger for you. So I have the suite theme and I have the LAN theme. There's a check mark on both of these. That means they're installed and I can uninstall them. I'll make this smaller. Now I'm going to go back and change this to everything. We also have the way we sort things. How do you, if you're looking for something from A to Z, for instance, starts it with A. It's got a scroll bar in here. Then you've got the highest rated. Suite is one of them. LAN is the second one. That's why I had two of these installed. And then you can do most downloaded. You have a close button here. You have a close button here. So it doesn't matter which one I use. So sometimes when you're in the subcategories, you'll see Get New Plasma Styles. This box operates practically the same. Application style, window decorations, get new ones. You get the idea. Same thing with cursors. Get new cursor. If you're curious where these are stored, I'm not going to get off on a tangent, but I've shown this in the past on my past videos in the last 4 or 5 years. Control H. Most of your icons are in, your mouse cursors or mouse pointers are installed in .icons on most systems, most Linux systems. You can see that suite and LAN right there. I'm going to go back to my home folder and turn off hidden, Control H. And then I'm going to do an Alt F4 and continue. So you can install others. But again, what I was getting about earlier is the global theme installed that. And you can see this says LAN border cursors. That's the other theme over here. Not all themes probably install those things. This suite theme also installs wallpaper. This wallpaper here is also selectable. You can see it all says suite on it. This is a different kind of wallpaper from suite. That one's very similar to the one I was using, except it's black. Okay, just wanted to give you some perspectives. So I'm going to come back to this startup and shutdown because there are some options that you may want to investigate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about possibly adding some shortcuts to something like this. So again, Bob is just a made-up name. It's our user for today. And I have 23 seconds to think about this. So the most common ones are your logout, shutdown, and restart. All right, if you want to add one of these, this is called a widget. It's really not that hard to do. I'm going to first delete it because you can put it in this orientation or the other orientation if you want one of these. This again is really easy to install. Right click on your screen, hit add widgets. Now depending on the theme, global theme that you picked, some of the colors may be different. But if you look for this icon here, it says lock and logout, just click, drag and drop it. And it starts with the two default ones, and it's very small. So it's leave and the lock screen. I'm going to right click on it and hit edit mode. And then it's hard to see with this wallpaper, so if you don't mind, I'm going to switch wallpaper for a second just to give it some color. Let me use my weird one, if you don't mind. And now you can maybe see a dark box. Well, that may be a bad example. Well, actually, you can probably see the halo around it, but let me try another lighter color wallpaper. How about that one? That one came with that other theme. There you go. Now we can probably see that. So you can see the bubbles around this. The bubbles just means you can do the resizer. And if I wanted the thing in a stackable format, I could do it this way. I can also click the little configure lock and logout button, and I can turn on and off things. Let me put this over here for a second, so that way when I open up the configure box, it will be over here and you can see this. So if I only wanted the leave button, I could do it that way. If I wanted the default, which is usually these two, I can also do switch user, add a third button, and then sleep. Not everybody has hibernate, so I'm going to leave that one off. All right, with that said, I'm going to leave these as is and hit OK. And now it's time for me to, well, maybe resize these things, right? That's probably excessive. But you can see now I'm changing the orientation. Do this, and then move them around. So if you're satisfied, close the box. There you have it. If you are wanting to put it in a vertical fashion, then go back and hit the edit mode. Try to grab a hold of this thing and squeeze it. And then usually when you get close to this edge, this bar will flip the other way. Just like that. And if you can't get it close enough, sometimes you can just do that. So keep in mind, my configure button is over here, so I can also turn all of that stuff off or back on. Let's say if I want just the two. What if I just want the switch user? What if I just want the sleep button? Different combinations. All right, so I'm going to turn all of these back on just to give you that perspective, and hit OK and close. Now if you don't like the behavior of some of that stuff, sometimes the triggers are different. You may want to investigate this option in settings. Open up your startup and shutdown, click that open, click the session, desktop session, and investigate the options in here. Default leave option. Thank you for watching, folks. Take care.